This week we're talking about the resurgence of the inline 6 engine, the all-new MAGMA performance brand from Genesis, and a supercharger that doubles the new Mustang's power, and it comes from Ford. But first, how effective is a bumper when it comes to taking out enemies? Welcome to the Big Three. Hey guys, welcome to the Big Three, the only automotive podcast you have to listen to or watch, except for our other one,
which is named Pass Gas.
Currently number 1 and number 2 automotive podcast in the world. Thank you guys so much for listening and sharing and reviewing and favoriting and subscribing and falling asleep listening to our sweet, sweet voices.
Wake up!
Wake up!
Put it all back up.
I am James Pumphrey, and I am most of the time, is even a stretch, joined by these guys. We painted our faces and names on the wall, and this podcast has been hosted by a plethora of donut personalities.
Good.
Yeah.
All of us have been absent.
Yeah.
But today we have the original lineup. The men on the wall, Nolan, John Sykes.
Hey, I'm here.
And Joseph the Bleb Weber.
The
God.
Great nickname.
Hey, thanks for that intro, man.
Yeah, you're welcome,
I guess give it the goose since you're not. You
Love it up.
gotta say your catchphrase.
Go ahead
man.
and goose it.
Are we doing
Go
new
ahead and goose
catchphrases
it.
for this one?
I can't keep track of that many. Joe, you had an interesting weekend.
I did.
What'd
Yeah,
you
I
do?
went camping with the CYBERTRUCK, which was stressful.
Was it? How many
fun.
times did you charge?
I want to say 6 or 7.
And it took 30 minutes each time?
Sometimes we're going to get breakfast and stuff, and we let it charge to 100%.
Smart.
It would take.
You eat, the car eats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nom. Electrons. We would go eat breakfast and charge to 100%, but it's not recommended that you charge to 100%
Yeah.
too often.
It harms the battery, just like
It
your phone.
harms the
Just
battery.
like when you use the wireless charging on your phone. That's why my phone gets hot now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But at that point, why don't you make 80%?
Does the
100%?
car get hot?
It just degrades the battery faster, is what they told us.
Mhm.
So we got a couple 100% charges to
Real
get
quick.
us out there.
Real quick, sorry. All this is context for a video that we're filming. Or
Yeah.
we did film where we took a modded Cybertruck camping with some more traditional overlanders. You
Yeah.
guys went on a little road
Yodas.
trip, little camping trip.
Yeah, a couple modified Land Cruisers.
The opposites of Cybertrucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, by my boy Ben at Descent, off-road outfitter, I guess you'd call him. The Land Cruisers were amazing. The Cybertruck, we were trying to play into this angle of like range anxiety the whole time, and quickly went from us acting about it to us actually being super anxious about getting to the places we were getting to. Overall, it was a really fun trip, though. Cybertruck is really fun when you know that there's a charger close.
Mm-hmm.
But right now the range is not feasible for like keeping up with any kind of gas vehicle out there. But
Well,
maybe I spoiled the video.
No,
I don't know.
that's-
I mean-
there's special little
Yeah, a little behind
tidbits
the
you
scenes.
get when you
Yeah.
listen to the podcast.
Exactly. No, I can't wait to see that video.
Yeah.
You and Justin, I think that's gonna be. a
But
good
my
time.
favorite part the whole trip was getting up to the Cerro Gordo mine,
It
And-
means skinny fat.
Fat Hill.
Oh.
Yeah.
Skinny fat.
Skinny fat.
Oh, zero fat.
Yeah.
Cerro Gordo.
Slim thick.
Yeah.
Mm.
But we met up with Ghost Town Living. This dude, Brent Underwood, bought a ghost town. He's restoring it. He's finding all these old
He's putting
Levi's
gold
jeans.
back into the mine.
Dude, you can get so much money for those jeans.
I know. He said that the previous owner in the 90s found like a basement of a house that had since like fallen over or something, excavated it, found a rack with like 7 unworn Levi's
Dude, I bet
jeans
those
from
were
the
so much
1880s.
That's so much salvage.
How much were
dude.
they worth?
I mean, each pair could be like $300,000.
Oh
No
my
way.
God.
Yes, there's been
Yeah,
pairs
dude.
of Levi's
What?
jeans.
Yeah,
that,
dude.
Wow.
Selvage, the new gold.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's why I
Some
moved out here.
salvage.
This past weekend, tempers flared at the NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Richmond, Virginia. I love this. On lap 173, drivers Joey Gase and Dawson Cram.
That is a NASCAR name right there.
Both very NASCAR names, but
Yeah.
on like the less romantic
Yeah.
end. Like
Dawson
they're on like
Cram.
the less romantic end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Dawson Cram. Dawson's a redneck name now.
He's a villain in the NASCAR movie.
Yeah. Made contact, sending Gase into the wall. He then climbed out of his car, tore the loose rear bumper off of it, waited for Dawson to come back during the safety lap, and threw it at his windshield and broke it.
It's great.
Like he
it's a great
broke the
clip.
windshield.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's an awesome clip.
It's hectic, but it sounds pretty cool.
It is pretty sick. The best part is he was not immediately penalized or spoken to by officials. NASCAR posted it on their social media platforms, and if you listen to like the announcers,
Yeah.
they're just like laugh. They're like, "Oh, I bet OSHA's gonna be mad that he didn't wear his gloves."
Yeah. It's some good old just like down home fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, super fun. And this is exactly what NASCAR
Mm-hmm.
needs to be.
Yeah, I think it's cool that they didn't like try to bury it and delete all the footage and stuff and sue people for posting
Right.
it.
Yeah. Well, nobody got hurt, so
Yeah.
Dude,
I-
but like, can you imagine like if that happened in F1? Like Alonso
Yeah.
like
Oh.
waited for someone to come around.
we'd never hear the end of it.
Dude, he'd
Yeah.
be hung.
Yeah, probably.
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 Well, there's no windshield in F1. He could have.
No, but
he
like
could
you
kill
know,
someone.
It was a safety. It was a safety lap. So you're going slow.
Oh,
They're
okay.
going slow.
Also,
you know-
there's like all these like safety guys like out there, and like I was like, well, that guy's surely gonna try and
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
him, or like that guy's gonna like get in the and like these, they were just like,
You see one of the officials, he's like trying to help Gase out of the car, and then he sees what he's doing, and he just goes, "Oh man!" You just see it like the helmet shake his head. He's like, "All right, man."
he's good.
It's really funny. You know, I wonder if this signals that NASCAR is like, for a second there, they were like trying to get away from like the
Yeah.
crashes, the
Yeah.
blah blah, like the roughhousing and stuff, and like leaning into it more. Because
I
that's
hope
what people like about the sport, I think, is
Right.
like,
Yeah.
you know, it's the opposite of F1, like you mentioned, Joe.
He's angry just like me.
Yeah, and like, you know, hockey, they don't want to be known for just like the fights and stuff like
Right.
that. But I feel like some of these sports, like, I mean, if that's what you're really known, if that's what you have decades
gotta
long kind of like
lean into it.
reputation, lean into it a little
Can't-
bit.
you can only be who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to embrace it and lean into
The
it.
guy's name is Dawson Cram. for God's
Yeah,
sake.
dude. What's he supposed
Dawson
to do?
Cram.
Not
Yeah.
get hit?
Come
It was
on.
Gase through it.
We got guys named Cram.
Named Cram. There's no Cram in F1.
Yeah, come on, man. So no Cram is ever gonna drive an F1.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like NASCAR for a while was trying to be like, well, actually, it is very technical,
Which it is.
which it is.
Yeah.
And like, there's like aerodynamics and everything. And I think even videos that we've made
There's
about.
aerodynamics involved.
Yeah. I mean, a lot.
Yeah. But
And like
let's-
your aero like affects like other people and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's cool.
And I like we've highlighted that in videos trying to make it more interesting to our audience. But I really do think that like you can't compete with F1 on that level.
Yeah.
If you did try to, like, they don't have roofs on their cars. Like it's faster, and that's what that is.
Yeah.
And so like like embrace the theatrics.
have some fun with it.
And I think they should mic up the drivers, and the
they
drivers
do.
should be able to talk to each other.
Oh,
Oh man, if you could hear just people screaming,
Yeah. Put Gase on.
yeah.
And you're like, you
Catch me.
son of a bitch,
Yeah.
you put me in the wall.
I'll get you next lap. On that point of names though, like it's so telling that a dude named like Dylan Cram, what's his name?
Dawson
Cram is in NASCAR.
Sounds
and then,
like a bad guy on that cartoon Recess.
Have you seen
Dawson Cram?
have you seen Carlos Sainz say his full name?
where
It's
like
like
13 names.
13 different names, and it's very regal,
Uh-huh.
and it's just like such a
Yeah.
difference between the two sports.
Yeah, it's America versus Europe.
Yeah, like the monarchy of Europe.
Yeah, this ain't no continental
Yeah.
race series.
Hey, where do you put the moonshine in your F1 car?
Yeah. up your little ass.
Yeah, your tiny little European ass.
The only continents I've ever been to is a continental breakfast
At the Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
It's actually really good.
We got those rubbery ass eggs.
You make your own waffles.
I hope that this is a sign of things to come in NASCAR.
All the body panels on these Xfinity cars should be like
able to come on.
perforated, like a paper towel. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you just
Yeah.
zip
One
them
of
off.
them turns into like a sword.
Oh yeah, maybe some weaponry.
You should be able
Yeah.
to call each other out like once a season. You should be able to call another driver out
Yeah.
to fight him, like Creator Clash.
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
It'd be great. Ford recently launched a new supercharger kit for the 5-liter Mustang models.
Ooh.
Speaking of getting back to the goods, good
Yeah.
old American way. You used to be able to buy all kinds of performance stuff from
Yeah, I mean, you still
dealerships.
can.
Yeah,
Still
I mean,
can.
you still can. You still can.
Yeah.
I've bought a new car. I know. The $10,000 kit includes a 3-liter Whipple supercharger.
That's massive.
92 millimeter
big.
throttle body, intercooler, and port fuel injectors from the GT500. It's good
Interesting.
for up to 810 horsepower, 615 pound-feet of torques.
Man.
For context, a stock GT is 480 horsepower and 415
That's nothing to
pound-feet.
sneeze at either, but man, get that Whipple on
Yeah.
there.
Get that Whipple on there.
Woo boy, get that Whipple on.
on there. The other 5-liter model, the Dark Horse, has 500 horsepower stock. Coolest thing about it, potentially, is it's got a 36,000-mile warranty.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Our fans want to know about that warranty.
Yeah. And it is legal in California if installed by a dealer or ASE certified technician.
And
Oh,
let's be
that's
honest,
different than what I had thought, because I was reading articles about this all week. At first, it said illegal in California, but that must
I think
have
that's
been
if you
updated.
install it yourself. But honestly, if you're gonna buy like a factory performance part through
Yeah.
a dealership, you might as well have the dealership do it for you.
Yeah, have the
so you
pros do
can
it.
also. I bet that warranty is probably tied to the having a dealer install it
Oh,
too.
for
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
They
And listen, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there being like, well, I can install it just as good as a dealer. Well, that might be the case, but a lot of people are dumb.
Yeah. This is not the first time that they've done this. Last year they last year they launched another Whipple supercharger kit for the F-150.
Oh, yeah.
And that has the same deal, same warranty, legal in
get it on that.
California.
On the short bed.
That'd be sick.
Two-door.
Yeah. I have a whole
sick.
spreadsheet for that.
Friendships are a project, and cars are a friendship.
Okay.
We all got project cars going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nolan,
Yeah.
you got a big update.
Yeah. As you may have saw on the channel last Monday, the Imperial is technically driving.
Yeah.
It starts up and drives around.
Dude,
now,
I've seen that car move more in the past week than I have
in
in
the past
my
4
entire
years. Yeah.
relationship.
No, I mean
Yeah.
I've been taking it around the block every now and then. It's got a pretty gnarly stumble right now. It's probably going lean from a vacuum leak somewhere, or the accelerator pump isn't big enough. The squirter isn't big enough.
By stumble, you mean just like...
Yeah, no. So like you'll hit the gas pedal and there'll be like you'll hear it kind of die for a
Yeah.
second and then come back.
Oh, okay.
So try and get that figured out. Also, it doesn't have exhaust on it, so it's pretty loud.
It sounds good though.
Yeah, it does.
I think
Sounds
it's
cool.
I think that it's fortunate that it doesn't have exhaust at this stage.
Yeah.
Because every time you start it up, it's like blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
and it sounds like an old car
Yeah.
should sound, and you
I think
remember
I
that
might-
there's Hemi. I think it's a motivator.
Maybe today I'll take it to the muffler shop down the street and get it.
You should get side exit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe think about it.
If you want to burn your ankles.
Yeah, but then once we get that, I'm trying to take it to the Chrysler Spring Fling
Oh yeah.
in
nice.
Van Nuys, which
What's
is a
the
couple
average
weeks.
age there?
Phew, probably 57, 59.
You'll fit right in there.
Yeah, I'm a 56-year-old man. I'm trying to take it there, so I got to get it buttoned up for that, and then after that, I can switch gears back to focusing on the EF hatch.
Well, you can switch gears because now it has a
It
transmission.
has a functional transmission. That's right.
That was the big hang up for a while.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're focused on the EF hatch. Got a B18.
B18. I got to get a cage. I
C1
want to get a
swap.
yeah. I want to get a cage in that. I got to get seats so the cage knows where to go.
That's the
basically.
engine from Integra GSR.
Yep, and it has a fully refreshed GSR transmission as well.
That's
sick,
fun,
And
dude.
So
That's gonna be a
that's
fun
gonna be a
little car.
track build.
That's gonna be a little track build. Yep.
That's
So,
fun.
Yeah.
I've been working on my E30.
Yeah.
And yes, you have.
Yes, you
Were you at Castro yesterday? Or
I
was
was
that
Not yesterday, but I've been at Castro Motorsports in Los Angeles. BMW
Valley.
legend.
Yeah.
Built Frank Ocean's car. Built
Really?
he built 3 cars for Frank. So
Wow.
all
Dang.
of them.
Was that
So-
Frank's car on the Channel Orange?
So he
album?
built
Or
him.
no, sorry, Nostalgia Ultra.
Yeah, so he built one for him that matched that
That's
after,
sick. That's
but that
That's really cool.
picture came from like a European
Okay.
website.
Dude,
like
But
it was
he
just
did-
like a
so
Google
good.
search.
He did build Tyler the Creator's.
He built
E30.
Tyler the Creator's E30, and then
Wow.
while we were there last week, Travis Scott's car
Wow.
Wow.
came into the shop, and this is a little piece of info that only the podcast listeners would get. Fake wheels on Travis Scott's car.
You got
Interesting.
reps?
Yeah, well, immediately he pulled in, and Chris goes, "You know these are fake wheels, right?" And the guy was like, "Oh my God, no! They charged us $10,000 for them."
Oh,
Oh
no.
Yeah.
shit.
Woo!
Dude, what a
So,
curve.
Just a certain builder that used to have a TV show on MTV that we made a video about. It's still up there. Old tricks.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Travis Scott's car and now my car. It's insane.
Mhm.
Like my car is so nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
Nice,
we
dude.
sandblasted the bottom and repainted
nice.
it.
I love
yeah.
the red and black houndstooth you put on the.
Yeah, I
that's
got
cool.
new
Cars.
seats and stuff. But like honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is just like looking at the wheel wells
Mhm.
because like we resprayed undercoat over
Oh,
everything,
yeah.
and
Oh,
so like
nice.
just like all new brake lines, new fuel tank,
Yeah.
new fuel lines,
Yeah.
like and he only works on one chassis essentially, so
Mhm.
he just has like all this stuff. Like there's all the hardware now is zinc coated.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
So when he takes hardware off of like cars he's working on, he just like sends these buckets out to get zinc plated. So
Yeah.
he's just got like some of it's organized, but a lot of it's just like these huge trays of
Wow.
random hardware. So I spent a lot of my time digging for gold. But like, dude, like we're working on it, and everything vapor honing is my new favorite thing. He's got
What's
a bit.
that?
So it's like a media blasting
Mhm.
thing. It's like sand made out of aluminum dioxide, but water too.
Okay.
So it's just like a cabinet where you spray stuff off. Everything's vapor honed,
Uh-huh.
and we're working on my car, and our hands aren't even getting dirty.
That's insane.
It's like insane.
Whoa.
Like it's gonna be so nice.
And like you said, he specializes in the E30, correct? So
E30.
like he probably has just his systems
Yeah.
down for
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everything's built
Yeah.
the same way.
Dude, like everything's built
he
the
knows
same way.
exactly where to put all the stuff.
Even like he has cabinets just full of like certain types of spray paint because he's
Wow.
like, oh, this one is like really good to match the factory finish of
Oh,
this
sick.
part.
Oh, man.
Like so like grill paint, like high heat
Mhm.
like grill paint.
Yeah.
He's like, you can paint on top of grease,
Wow.
and like the finish is like a perfect like satin black for like
Wow,
gas
cool.
tanks and
That's
stuff. But then like for the cowl, like the plastic cowl that covers like the HVAC in the engine bay,
Mhm.
he's like, don't like paint this, just like take it outside and like dust it.
Yeah.
So that's what gives it like a factory finish. And then
Wow.
just so many, like we're saving so much time because he's like,
Because he's done the work over just like
Yeah, he-
decades of doing this, right?
and he has like a bouquet of already like refinished fuel lines like
Wow.
up there, or
That's
like
sick.
he's
Oh,
like,
man.
like there's these two like aluminum CAD plated like wind deflectors right behind the gas tank that like
Huh.
we put back on.
Yeah.
Like new fuel filler neck.
Yeah.
This car is nuts. So
That's awesome.
And
man.
you're, can we talk about the engine swap? Or
yeah,
no?
so we're doing a high compression S54 from an E46
spicy.
Yeah.
with Schrick
Is that the
cams.
M3 motor?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, with Schrick cams and
So-
then a big like carbon fiber plenum developed by Mikey Day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So standard, it's like 330 horsepower.
Like standard, it's like maybe
That thing's
330
gonna be
crank.
Fast as hell.
I think we're gonna get more.
Yeah, with some aggressive
It's gonna be
cams and stuff.
spicy.
Yeah. Hell yeah,
Pretty
dude.
fast. Joe, what you been cranking on?
Well, I've been driving my Z to baseball practice.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what I want to do to it, and honestly, I want to keep it pretty stock. James sent me a couple wheel ideas from Watanabe.
Do some watts.
Oh,
Yeah.
watts
You
would be
like gunmetal watts and
the
and,
6-spoke Watanabes with like that smoky matte gunmetal.
Maybe like a nice
fatter
seat
tire.
or two and like a nice shifter knob.
Fatter tires for sure, because the fitment is bugging me right now.
Yeah.
It just looks like that 80s,
Bugging me, dude.
that like 4 inches before the tire starts kind of
Yeah.
fitment, and it's like, why'd you design it like this?
Mhm.
You know, I would love to refresh the interior. I'm also like, it was $800. I don't want this to be a $15,000 car by the end of it. Yeah. But I'm also like, oh, I got a son on the way. I can teach him how to drive on this thing.
Better get started now.
Yeah.
First things first.
No, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have like, it's a new car to you, but like, you know, for your child, that'll be their first memory of like, oh yeah, my dad had one of those things.
Yeah. And having already had a Z already, I know that it's a huge junkyard car. They're always coming in and out of the junkyard. I might just do kind of like a budget refresh and
That'd
get
be
some
cool,
little
yeah.
parts that have broken. I would love a new driver's seat because it's starting to sink through a little bit. You
Honestly,
know,
cleaning stuff
yes.
is
goes a
the
long way.
biggest thing.
Yeah. It's already pretty clean inside. There's just like some gas gauge issues. I got to figure out why the gas gauge is not working. Little things here and there that I think are fun projects that I can handle.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my update.
Sure.
Good update. You know who else is getting an update?
Korea. Korean luxury car maker Genesis announced last week that they will be launching a new performance sub-brand called Magma.
Molten hot magma.
Magma. The announcement came just before the New York Auto Show, where Genesis showcased some of its concept magma-tuned vehicles, including the GV60, which is the like electric SUV CUV thing. So it's
the
like on the
mid-size one.
it's on the same platform as the Ioniq,
Okay.
and then
that Kia one.
the Kia Eve 6.
Eve 6.
I will turn my
Put my heart in a blender.
but the
Inside out.
faith in nothing. Want to turn my tender heart into a blender. Watch us spin around to a beautiful oblivion. Magma, I'm magma. So that's the Kia Eve 6.
Magma as a name I'm not sure about.
It might be one of those things that it's like, you know, like Jankos, where you're like, they're still lame, but like in 5 years, people are gonna think they're cool.
Well, it's what you want as a car maker.
Yeah, that's definitely what
To
you
be
want.
really big on the secondary.
That
Yeah.
orange, so the Magma orange that they've debuted, really cool color.
It's a cool
I
color.
love it. I think it's a great name for that orange.
Yeah.
I just don't know if like someone who's in the market for looking at Genesis, I just don't know if they're gonna
Hey,
want to
Genesis.
get
Hey, Genesis. Dude, we're
Genesis blossoms.
Genesis blossom.
That's hilarious.
We haven't even mentioned the band Genesis yet.
I just don't know. Like, I was trying to think of some other names for a performance sub brand for Genesis, but like,
I mean, they're all
Genesis Revelation brand.
Yeah, well, I think just having a name in general is against the norm because most companies go with a letter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So like
Well, they
BMW
are-
has M, Mercedes has
Yes.
AMG,
Yeah.
Audi has RS.
And even Hyundai has N.
And yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
But I think maybe like N is a little confusing with M.
Maybe it should have been Nagna.
Nag.
I just thought, I don't know, man.
My initial thought was the same. Like, what?
Magma.
Yeah, but I think that you got to look at Genesis as like an entirely new thing. And I started thinking this morning when I was reading about it, like, I bet that we feel the way we feel about Korean car brands, I assume is how Americans felt about like European or Japanese car brands
Sure.
in the 70s.
Yeah.
Like now BMW is a performance car for sure, but I'm sure there were like guys in the 70s who are like, oh yeah, that cute little BMW. Yeah, I think it is good for them to like potentially to not do what all the German brands are doing and just be like, hey, it's a new thing. We're not comparing ourselves to them, so you don't compare us to them. This isn't an M option, and they've even said that. Like, this isn't like M, this isn't like RS, this is like...
Yeah, they said it, don't get your expectations super high.
We're another
not
great
AMG.
way to...
well, this is an iron fist and a velvet glove.
You want to set your... You want to appropriate, expectations, but also, why are you going to call it Magma then?
I know.
Well,
Something so hot it melts rock.
Yeah,
James.
but what I'm saying is, like, they're going after a new client who, like, doesn't necessarily... have an association with M or RS or anything, and this person will be happy to be like, "Oh, it's a Magma."
Yeah. Okay. I
But
get
that doesn't.
I think it's
but that
the
makes
same-
it not a lesser M. It makes it a Magma.
I think it's the same type of person that would buy a Veloster N or even like a Tiburon back in the day.
If
But
they
maybe
have
with a
more
little
money.
bit more
Genesis is a luxury brand. Like
That's what I'm
Genesis-
saying.
And
Is
those,
like
those Genesis, especially the
Genesis.
Genesis, the big sedan they make. I forget what it's called, but that thing is pretty sick.
Well, they're making a Magma version of that guy.
yeah,
but
basically
it's
every
only in
Genesis.
the
There's 4
Middle
different
East.
Genesis cars that they're making performance models of,
Yeah.
and one of them does look like a Veloster.
I don't think Genesis has a Veloster.
No, but it does. That's why I'm saying like that's the clientele, because they used to make Tiburons in yellow and Velosters in purple or
That
light
blue.
blue. Yeah, the blue.
Yeah. So the GV60, they're also making a coupe, which like coupe means now SUV with long butt. So like BMW and Porsche both have SUV coupes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're managing expectations. It'll differ from standard Genesis by having more horsepower, a wider track, lower ride height, bigger arches, unique paint colors. We're assuming bucket seats. We haven't seen the insides of them.
Yeah.
And the seats are going to have orange stitching.
And the heaters are going to be really, really good.
Yeah. Because they're powered by lava.
Yeah.
And interestingly, Genesis says each of their cars will have a Magma variant.
Yeah.
They released like this like press photo of like all the Magma cars, and one of them is like this, like the something Berlinetta coupe.
Is that super long?
It looks like an
looking
AMG GT.
That thing's sick.
That thing is sick.
Yeah,
I would
it's
drive
really
that.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I bet it's a good car.
I bet it's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I
They-
mean,
they're
does it
like
exist? It's just a rendering, isn't it?
Yeah, their flagship engine is a twin turbo V6 with an electric supercharger and mild hybridization.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Probably
they're
quick.
just like,
Yeah.
keep going.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Keep going.
So it sounds like they're kind of poised to take on Infinity's like red
Oh,
badge
they're
or whatever.
destroying Infiniti.
Redshift.
Yeah.
I think they are
Red
poised
shift.
to take on, like, especially as like BMW and Mercedes and Audi are offering more like entry level options. Like
Mhm.
all of those companies offer something. Like the BMW's always
There's
done
like
it.
an A-class AMG you can get for like 45. I
Right.
think.
So
Yeah.
like Mercedes isn't just a prestige brand anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're trying to go after the entire market. Like Audi's trying to go after the entire market. BMW always kind of has. But
well, they have Mercedes has for a long time in Europe, but in America,
Yeah.
it's been seen as like a luxury.
Yeah. But I think so I think Genesis actually has like a pretty decent shot of going after like these other brands, especially like Mercedes and BMW, especially when you put two things side by side and you're like, well, this one's nicer than I thought it would be, and this one's not as nice as I expected it to be.
Dude, those interiors on those Genesis are really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And guys, as if like I'm not surprised at all, they hired 6-time Le Mans champion Jackie Ickx.
Jackie Ickx.
The guy who
We-
shows up everywhere.
Isn't that how old is that dude?
He looks great.
He's 112.
He's
Actually.
112, but he looks really good.
I feel like we mention him in every episode.
I know,
Yeah,
every
I know. He's in
single-
every episode of this and the other podcast.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to Past Gas, that's our like automotive history podcast. You will hear about Jackie Ickx every single episode.
Every-
How
yeah.
old is Jackie Ickx?
112.
79 years old
God.
as your brand partner.
1 year older than Ernie Hudson.
Dude,
Who
Ernie
would've-
Hudson.
Yeah, now let's
jacked.
talk about looking
looks
good.
so good.
Dude, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start doing steroids.
Yeah.
You think he does steroids?
100%. That guy doesn't make testosterone anymore. Genesis Chief Creative Officer Luke Donkervolk says the brand won't be as hardcore as rivals like M or AMG. He described the design ethos as an iron fist and a velvet glove.
That's still pretty hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd probably be.
You
that'd
get
hurt
punched
more.
with that? Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah. Iron fist and
Velvet
glove.
doesn't really soften shit.
No.
No, velvet does not offer any protection from iron.
No. That sounds like a Game of Thrones reference.
I'm
honestly.
like I went through a complete like kind of 180 while reading about this. Like at first I was like,
Yeah.
boo, dorks.
Mhm.
But then I was like, well, if like BMW is just throwing M around on
They
anything.
put on everything. You can
Yeah.
just get M Sport, which is just literally badges and black wheels.
That
Yeah.
big electric SUV thing with like the weird roof.
The M.
That's just called the M.
Yeah, XM. Yeah.
And so I think this is a cool play for Genesis, especially if they're quick and fun and cool.
Is CS the new M, basically? If with BMW?
No, CS is very serious. Like M3s are still M3s.
Yeah.
M4s are still M4. Like M still means something some of the time. It just doesn't mean something all the time.
Yeah.
Like M with a single digit after it, that's good.
Mhm.
M with like 3 more digits after it.
I don't know, dude. I drove in an X5 M440i.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got
And
the
it's
twin
got
turbo,
the
right?
got the Z4 or the super engine in it.
B58.
Yeah. That thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
rips.
quick.
Yeah,
it's
and
it's a toss-up.
M340i
Yeah.
and M440i, those are anything with a 40 is a B58, the super
Yeah.
engine.
Yeah. Like the M340i,
Is vast.
that's a hella fast car. Yeah, I mean, my buddy had like an X7 with
Yeah.
like the big ass engine in it. That thing hauled ass.
Man.
yeah.
That's a
Apparently
heavy
the
car.
best buy right now is the X3 with the B58 in it, the X3
Oh.
M.
My
Whatever.
buddy works at a BMW dealership and he says the same thing. He loves that thing.
Like mine's. Well, Genesis
Interesting.
ain't the only brand refreshing its image.
What?
Yep. Last week, Nissan announced a new 3-year business plan called the ARC, like Noah, which
Yeah.
is like not a great signal of like where your business
Yeah,
is.
their promotional poster was weird. It had a bunch like 2 Altimas and 2 Sentras
Yeah,
driving
but
up.
2 of
into
the Altimas had names on them, and that means they're both male Altimas.
Interesting.
How are they going to make more Altimas? All right, so Nissan has a new business plan called the ARC. The new plan includes refreshing over 70% of its U.S. lineup by 2026.
Wow, that's fast.
Yeah, and launching 30 new models worldwide.
Yeah.
Lord.
16 of those new models will have electric powertrains.
Okay.
Nissan plans for 60% of global sales to be electrified by 2030, which seems far, but they also have a lot more cars than
It'll
most
sneak
people.
up.
Yeah. Outlets like The Drive have spotted GTR-like taillights on a crossover in the promo video, suggesting a long-rumored EV Skyline crossover could be part of the plan.
This is what we've been talking about
Yeah.
and fearing for a while.
Jeez Louise.
It happened to our good friend the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I do think that's a Skyline,
It's a Skyline.
not the GTR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Friday, auto news outlet Motor Authority, which is quickly becoming one of my faves, quoted 2 Nissan executives as confirming next generation GTR and Z platforms.
Okay.
The Hyperforce concept, which many believe to be a preview of the next GTR, was also shown in the promo photos for Nissan's new ARC business
Yeah, I think
plan.
we mentioned that car like 2 weeks ago
Uh-huh.
with the GTR episode.
Yeah.
That was the one that was out at Tokyo Auto Salon.
Mhm.
Larry Chen took a bunch of pictures of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all the other cars in the press photos kind of share that same design
Same,
language, like really boxy fenders, little
I'm,
headlights.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
like
too.
the Hyperforce. It's not going to look like that if it ever comes out.
Yeah,
No,
obviously, but
Dude, I mean, the GTR concept, when that was first shown off in like 2004, did not look too far off what came out a few years later. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
this looks
I
like
wouldn't write
an
it off
IMSA
completely.
car though. Like it's like the side skirts
Mhm.
and like
well, the GTR is a race car. It's always been
I
a
know,
race
I know.
car.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Marquez Brownlee says Nissan's never made a race car.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I forgot Nissan has never made a race car.
Let's not start beef with Marquez.
He hacks the mainframe here and deletes my life.
Yeah, so I think it's a long shot. I think Nissan's been not.
They've been struggling.
Yeah.
You know, they've kind of always been playing third fiddle to Honda and Toyota
Yeah.
in terms of the Japanese manufacturers, and now they're part of like a bigger. I think the problem for them now is that they're
Too
part
global.
of a larger brand. They have to share a lot of components with other manufacturers, right? In the Stellantis kind of umbrella. Obviously, it's a two-way street.
Wait,
There's
Nissan's
a lot of
part of Stellantis right now?
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Whoa.
But
But
that
so-
also could theoretically help them out
It-
because
absolutely,
they're launching
platform sharing.
a bunch of new
Yeah.
vehicles, and so like parts development and platform
Exactly.
sharing will be.
I'm just saying, in terms of identity, you know, Honda and Toyota do not have that problem.
Right.
They are free to make
neither
their
does
own.
Mazda.
Neither does Mazda. So
Yeah.
they are free to make their own bespoke cars that are completely their own identity. Where, I mean, it's not just a Nissan thing. It's like any manufacturer that's part of like a larger umbrella. You'll see, like when we did ironically, the Maserati video a few weeks ago, they had the Chrysler entertainment system and everything,
Yeah.
like a lot of Chrysler parts in there. The Toyota Supra, right? That's
Yeah.
technically a Supra. I love it, but
Yeah.
when you get inside, it's a
It's a
It's a
BMW.
BMW on the
And,
inside.
and they only sold 8,000.
And I think it suffers because of that.
yeah,
So
100.
I think Nissan, they've got a huge challenge in front of us. Obviously, one of the most iconic brands, at least in like for us, you know.
Yeah.
I
I mean, I know like all of us as like car enthusiasts, we kind of focus on the flagship models like the Z, and we're like, oh, well, big
If there's
story is
no
what's
Z,
the
yeah.
GTR going to look like? But I think Nissan really needs to hit other cars
Yeah.
well,
Yep.
obviously, because like,
the cars that pay the bills.
yeah, the cars that actually pay the bills, because unless you're driving a Z, which no one really bought, or a GTR, which you're not going to sell a ton of them.
No.
Like, what is a good Nissan? And right now, the only Nissan I can think of is like the Ultima meme. You know, so
Yeah.
like, what's their small SUV? What's their
Yeah.
full size SUV? Are they going to do like a performance sedan?
But I
what's
think
their
that's-
entry level car?
the
Those are
meme
the
is
cars that
more-
are going to pay
Well, also
the
the
bills.
trucks too are very
And-
important
yeah.
for the U.S.
Yeah.
market.
And so the new Frontier just
Frontier.
came out, and
And
it's
it
pretty
looks
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And when I went out to Colorado when I was not here last week, I saw a lot of Frontiers.
Really?
Like disproportionately. A
Like
ton of
older
Frontiers.
ones?
No, like new ones.
Really?
Yeah, it was strange.
Huh.
Yeah.
I used to have a Frontier. I loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
You had a Frontier?
Yep.
When?
Like,
Yeah, what? This is the first
This
time
is
I'm hearing
new.
about this.
no, I had
Pumphrey
Frontier.
lore here.
Yeah. I don't know the year. I don't know years, but when I
But it was like- okay,
when I worked
so-
for Odd Future, I had a Frontier.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sure you just didn't fly on Frontier Airlines?
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the older Frontiers.
Yeah,
and
I do
also the Xterra. My uncle had one of those things
Yes,
back
I
in
had
the day.
I had the Frontier that was like the same.
It was like a
chassis
truck
as an
Xterra, yeah.
You know,
those
the
things- they're
best
cool.
full-size truck deal, maybe this is not true anymore, but for a while, the best full-size truck deal that you could get was a Nissan Titan XD with like the
XD.
off-road package. It was like 20% less than
I
other
mean,
trucks
yeah.
at the same capabilities. But I think the meme is more about like the type of people that drive Ultimas or whatever. I think because they price it so low,
Yeah.
people don't give a shit about them.
You can
and
get an
they're-
Ultima for cheaper than an Accord.
Yeah. And like Versa Notes, that's like the cheapest new car that you could buy
Wow.
for 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I
They got to focus on the rest of the fleet.
think we
right?
all
Yeah.
wish
Nissan
Nissan
the
luck
best.
here. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Once they get back to the point where they're making stuff like the RB26.
Yeah, RB26. Thank
Yeah.
you, Joe. RB26 was, of course, a very famous inline 6 engine, and right now the inline 6 is having something of a resurgence. In the past few years, many automakers have revived the engine layout after it fell out of favor several decades ago with the increased power of 4 cylinders and the compactness of the V6. Why the switch? Well, the primary reason, of course, is the same reason for everything: money. Inline 6 is easy to derive from a turbocharged 4-cylinder design. That's become basically the base engine of everything.
And vice versa. Speaking of the V58, also straight 6.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's the turbo force version of that BMW uses. That's basically a B58 with only 4 cylinders.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very stout engine.
I'm very into putting BMW engines into things in my head right now. It's like
Check
what
out
I'm
that.
into,
Check out that 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
That's what my spreadsheets are. It also straight six only requires 1 cylinder head as
Yeah.
opposed
Less
to
cost.
Yeah.
You don't have
So
to make 2-cylinder heads.
This might be a
Half
bold
as much money.
statement, but I think the inline 6 is probably the favored engine of most people at Donut.
I love them.
Yeah, I love them too.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent.
Oh, you're a V8 guy.
they're V8
I'm
guys.
corn-fed.
You can't take that. You
Yeah.
can't take the
Baby.
boy out of the
I
V8.
was
Can't take
raised
the,
on chili.
yeah.
Put hot dogs in my macaroni
Yeah.
and cheese
Yeah.
growing up. You know what I'm saying?
But like, RB26, we got the
S54.
S54
Zach's
is
got
amazing.
2 straight sixes.
yeah. We're
Uh,
huge fans of the inline 6. I'm happy to see it come back, have a reconnaissance. of
there is
sorts.
something romantic about it. Whenever I hear something has like twin turbo straight 6, I'm like, oh, you mean like the old engines? It's naturally a straight 6 is naturally balanced, runs very smoothly, and this makes it a prime choice for luxury car makers like Mercedes, as well as brands like Mazda, who are looking to rebrand as a premium manufacturer. Turbocharging can easily bring big power output into the V8 territory, but with better fuel economy and emissions.
It depends. We talked about the Charger, the new Charger, a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. That straight 6 in that, the Hurricane, the high output does make V8 power.
But it's not efficient.
It's not as efficient as
Yeah.
the V8.
But
ironically.
that's not Dodge's point, though. Dodge doesn't care about.
Dodge just
You're right,
cares
it's-
about making what they don't
Yeah.
want them to make. Okay?
You know,
and they
you're
want
right.
to fuel the brotherhood.
They
Yeah.
want to. The Brotherhood needs that straight 6. I love that we've mentioned 4 episodes in a row now.
Well, it
the
is
Brotherhood.
one of the more ridiculous things to happen. Like, in general.
Yeah. That all
Yeah.
comes back to the Brotherhood around
Yeah.
here. You know?
It's so
all
funny
does.
that like a white guy executive that's making millions of dollars, is
Hundreds of millions.
hundreds of millions of dollars, thinks he's part of a brotherhood.
Brotherhood
Yeah.
of Muscle, dude.
Brotherhood of Muscle, dude.
Come on, man.
I took a picture and sent it to his dad, or
To his dad?
to your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you sent it to your dad.
Yeah.
This is before Scott and I had each other's phone numbers.
Yeah.
What is
Like-
he in your phone?
Huh?
What is Scott in your phone?
I'm not allowed to say in front of Nolan. He was like, "Don't tell Nolan this nickname." I don't want him to look at me different. That's just for you and Joe, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Scott Rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Big Three. If you liked it and you want to hear us talk about some older stuff, check out our other podcast, Past Gas. We're releasing new episodes every week as well.
Yeah.
And check out our YouTube channel, Donut.
And happy belated birthday to producer Gavin Kinzel. Big thank you to our producers this week, Christina Felsky, the aforementioned Gavin Kinzel, Audrey Holden, and
Mark Schroeder.
Mark Schroeder.
And Edgar.
And Edgar.
Oh, yeah, and Edgar.
Bye.